Buddhāvataṃsaka Sutra. Book 26. The 10 Stages. Video 5. Thus, having heard of this far-reaching practice, this lofty, eminent stage, the enlightening beings were delighted and showered the Buddha with flowers. When this teaching was spoken, the oceans and earth trembled. Beautiful devoted goddesses reveled in the teaching in song, while the gods, overjoyed, showered heavenly jewels on the Buddha and said, "A victor who speaks beneficially has arisen, having reached the ultimate weal and virtue." We have now heard of the superlative way, the supreme conduct of enlightening beings, the stage of the wise, which is hard to get to hear of even in 100 eons. Speak further, O sage, for the benefit of heaven and earth, of the excellent practice of enlightening beings. This crowd of celestials wants to hear the definitive, exhaustive truth. Moon of Liberation said to Diamond Matrix, "Heroic speaker, tell the enlightening beings of the exalted state of those who enter the 4th stage." Diamond Matrix said, "Whoever has thoroughly purified vision in the 3rd stage enters the 4th stage. One attains this stage by 10 entries into the light of the teaching, by entry into the light through contemplation of the realms of beings, by entry into the light through contemplation of the realms of the world, by entry into the light through contemplation of the realms of phenomena and principles, by entry into the light through contemplation of the realm of space, by entry into the light through contemplation of the realm of consciousness, by entry into the light through contemplation of the realm of desire, by entry into the light through contemplation of the realm of form, by entry into the light through contemplation of the realm of formlessness, by entry into the light through contemplation of the realm of high-minded devotion, and by entry into the light through contemplation of the realm of inclinations of the magnanimous mind. Here, in this 4th stage, called blazing, simultaneous with the attainment of this stage, the enlightening beings are born in the family of Buddhas so as to attain the qualities proper to it by means of 10 things that develop and mature knowledge, by non-regressing will, by ultimate unbreakable faith in the 3 treasures, by contemplation of the origination and extinction of conditioned things, by contemplation of the non-origination of inherent nature, by contemplation of the formation and disintegration of worlds, by contemplation of coming into existence due to actions, by contemplation of the mundane world and nirvana, by contemplation of actions of beings and lands, by contemplation of past and future, and by contemplation of non-being and non-annihilation. Having embodied these 10 things that mature knowledge, enlightening beings are born in the family of Buddhas by attainment of the principles that are proper to it. Furthermore, the enlightening beings in this blazing stage carry on examination of the inner body vigorously, with precise awareness and mindfulness, getting rid of worldly desire and dejection. They carry on examination of the external body vigorously, with precise awareness and mindfulness, getting rid of worldly desire and dejection. They do the same to internal sensation, external sensation, and internal and external sensation, to the internal mind, the external mind, and the internal and external mind. They carry on examination of internal phenomena, precisely aware and mindful, getting rid of worldly desire and dejection. They carry on examination of external phenomena, precisely aware and mindful, getting rid of worldly desire and dejection. They carry on examination of internal and external phenomena, precisely aware and mindful, getting rid of worldly desire and dejection. The enlightening beings will and strive for the non-arising of bad and unwholesome states that have not yet arisen. They initiate vigorous effort, commanding the mind and directing it properly. They will and strive for the destruction of bad and unwholesome states that have arisen, initiating vigorous effort, commanding the mind and directing it properly. They will and strive for the arising of good states that have not yet arisen, initiating vigorous effort, commanding the mind and directing it properly. They will and strive for the stabilization, prevention of loss, augmentation, increased production and cultivation, and complete fulfillment of good states that have already arisen, initiating vigorous effort, commanding the mind and directing it properly. They develop the basis of mystical power of will combined with concentration and exertion, based on attachment, based on dispassion, based on extinction, given to relinquishment. They develop the basis of mystical power of energy combined with concentration and exertion, based on attachment, based on dispassion, based on extinction, given to relinquishment. They develop the basis of mystical power of attention combined with concentration and exertion, based on attachment, based on dispassion, based on extinction, given to relinquishment. They develop the basis of mystical power of contemplation combined with concentration and exertion, based on attachment, based on dispassion, based on extinction, given to relinquishment. They develop the faculty of faith, based on attachment, based on dispassion, based on extinction, given to relinquishment. They develop the faculty of energy, based on attachment, based on dispassion, based on extinction, given to relinquishment. They develop the faculty of recollection, based on attachment, based on dispassion, based on extinction, given to relinquishment. They develop the faculty of concentration, based on attachment, based on dispassion, based on extinction, given to relinquishment. They develop the faculty of wisdom, based on attachment, based on dispassion, based on extinction, given to relinquishment. They develop the power of faith, based on attachment, based on dispassion, based on extinction, given to relinquishment. They develop the power of energy, based on attachment, based on dispassion, based on extinction, given to relinquishment. They develop the power of recollection, based on attachment, based on dispassion, based on extinction, given to relinquishment. They develop the power of concentration, based on attachment, based on dispassion, based on extinction, given to relinquishment. They develop the power of wisdom, based on attachment, based on dispassion, based on extinction, given to relinquishment. They develop the branch of enlightenment of mindfulness, based on attachment, based on dispassion, based on extinction, given to relinquishment. They develop the branch of enlightenment of investigation of things, based on attachment, based on dispassion, based on extinction, given to relinquishment. They develop the branch of enlightenment of energy, based on attachment, based on dispassion, based on extinction, given to relinquishment. They develop the branch of enlightenment of joy, based on attachment, based on dispassion, based on extinction, given to relinquishment. They develop the branch of enlightenment of tranquility, based on attachment, based on dispassion, based on extinction, given to relinquishment. They develop the branch of enlightenment of concentration, based on attachment, based on dispassion, based on extinction, given to relinquishment. They develop the limb of enlightenment of equanimity, based on attachment, based on dispassion, based on extinction, given to relinquishment. They develop right thought, based on attachment, based on dispassion, based on extinction, given to relinquishment. They develop right seeing, based on attachment, based on dispassion, based on extinction, given to relinquishment. They develop right speech, based on attachment, based on dispassion, based on extinction, given to relinquishment. They develop right action, based on attachment, based on dispassion, based on extinction, given to relinquishment. They develop right livelihood, based on attachment, based on dispassion, based on extinction, given to relinquishment. They develop right effort, based on attachment, based on dispassion, based on extinction, given to relinquishment. They develop right mindfulness, based on attachment, based on dispassion, based on extinction, given to relinquishment. They develop right concentration, based on attachment, based on dispassion, based on extinction, given to relinquishment. Furthermore, all this is due to concern for all beings, due to the support of carrying out past vows, due to being led by great compassion, due to realization of great kindness, due to being principally focused on omniscience, due to being engaged in the full accomplishment of the powers, expertise, unique qualities, marks, embellishments, and voice of all enlightened ones, due to being in quest of the final supreme truth, due to following what is learned of the liberation of the profound teaching of Buddhas, and due to reflection on the great power of skill in liberative means. Moreover, the enlightening beings in the stage of blazing are freed from all points of attachment to what is considered wealth, what is considered one's own possessions, what is guarded and kept, what is thought of, what is ruminated on, what is conceived of, appearing and disappearing, aroused by attachment to the ideas of a real body, self, being, life, growth, person, personality, mental and physical clusters, elements, and sense mediums. Whatever acts should not be done, are disapproved by perfect Buddhas and provoke affliction, the enlightening beings get rid of. Whatever acts should be done, are approved by perfect Buddhas and are appropriate for provisions for the path of enlightenment, these the enlightening beings take on. As the enlightening beings increasingly develop the elements of the path accomplished by skill in means and wisdom for the attainment of the path, their minds accordingly become gentle, mild, workable, and altruistic, unafflicted, seeking the final ultimate excellence, seeking higher knowledge, liberating all beings, obeying and respecting their teachers, practicing the teachings as they have learned. They also become grateful and appreciative of what has been done for them, and they become extremely courageous, easy to live with, honest, gentle, uncomplicated, undiluted, free from conceit, easy to talk to, skillful in grasping the speaker's meaning. Thus the enlightening beings attain patience, self-control, and tranquility. Thus patient, controlled, and calm, they contemplate the elements of the path to purify the higher stages with unremitting vigor, unafflicted vigor, unregressing vigor, immense vigor, endless vigor, blazing vigor, unequaled vigor, invincible vigor, vigor in developing all beings to maturity, vigor in discerning what is instructive and what is not. And their mentality becomes more and more purified. Their prevailing will doesn't die out, and their clement of zeal blazes. Great roots of goodness are produced, and they accomplish destruction of worldly defilements. All their doubts and uncertainties are cut off, and they accomplish presence of mind free from doubt. They also attain joy and serenity. They come into the presence of the power of the enlightened and attain immeasurable will. To the enlightening beings in this stage of blazing, many Buddhas become visible, by great vision and willpower. Many hundreds of Buddhas, many thousands of Buddhas, many hundreds of thousands of Buddhas, many millions of Buddhas, many hundreds of millions of Buddhas, many billions of Buddhas, many trillions of Buddhas become visible to the enlightening beings by great vision and willpower. Having seen those enlightened ones, they honor and make offerings to them with great zeal, providing useful items such as clothing, food and drink, bedding, seat cushions, and medicines. They also provide comforts for enlightening beings and pay honor to the religious community. These roots of goodness they dedicate to unexcelled complete perfect enlightenment. Also they attend those Buddhas and respectfully listen to their teachings, taking them up, remembering them, and putting them into practice to the best of their ability. In many cases the enlightening beings go forth from home into the tutelage of those Buddhas. Their will, purpose, devotion, and equanimity are further purified. In this stage of blazing the enlightening beings abide in purity of will, purpose, devotion, and equanimity for many eons, many hundreds and thousands and millions and billions and trillions of eons. And the roots of goodness become radiant with extreme clarity. Just as gold fashioned by a skilled goldsmith into ornaments cannot be outshone by gold that has not been worked, in the same way the roots of goodness of enlightening beings in the stage of blazing cannot be outshone by the roots of goodness in the lower stages. And just as the light produced from a jewel, light emanating from a sphere of completely pure radiance, cannot be outshone by other pure lights produced from jewels, and the light cannot be destroyed by any wind, water, or rain. In the same way the enlightening beings in this stage of blazing cannot be outshone by enlightening beings in the lower stages, and their knowledge cannot be destroyed by the actions of any demons or afflictions. Of the four means of salvation, cooperation is predominant in these enlightening beings, and among the 10 transcendent ways, energy is predominant. Nonetheless they do practice the others as best they can. This is a summary of the 4th stage of enlightening beings, the stage called blazing. Most of the enlightening beings in this stage are celestial sovereigns of the heaven of timely portion, powerful, able to remove beings' view of a really existent body and establish them in right insight. Whatever actions the enlightening beings in this stage undertake, whether by giving, by kind speech, by beneficial action, or by cooperation, it is never apart from thoughts of Buddha, the teaching, the community, enlightening beings, the practices of enlightening beings, the ways of transcendence, the powers, expertise, and unique qualities of Buddhas up to omniscience consummate in all respects. Why? To become the best of beings, unexcelled leaders and guides, and ultimately omniscient refuges. Those who seek to be thus undertake the appropriate effort, by which they instantly attain a billion concentrations, see a billion Buddhas and recognize their power, shake a billion worlds, go to a billion lands, illumine a billion worlds, mature a billion beings, abide for a billion eons, penetrate a billion eons past and future, contemplate a billion teachings, and manifest a billion bodies, each surrounded by a billion enlightening beings. Then enlightening beings with the power of vows, by the excellence of their vows, perform countless transformations of the body, aura, mystic powers, sphere of operation, voice, conduct, adornment, power, resolution, and performances. Then Diamond Matrix spoke these verses describing the meaning of this stage. Those who have accomplished the third stage. Refulgence, contemplating the deeds of beings, the world, and phenomena, with purity of resolution and will, they enter the realm of space, the realm of mind, and the triple realm. As soon as those of great power attain the stage of blazing, they are born in the family of the teacher, never to regress, inseparable from the Buddha, the teaching, and the community, viewing the inertness of the continuum of birth and death. Reflecting on the coming into existence of action that causes the world to develop, on cyclic existence, nirvana, lands, and beings, as well as phenomena, past and future, non-extinction and non-origination, they grow in the family of the teacher, acting in accord. Having realized these principles, kind and compassionate, they contemplate the phenomena of their bodies and minds. They contemplate the inner, outer, and both, reflecting on the 4 points of mindfulness, free from attachment. From the destruction of evil, having developed good qualities, they actualize the 4 right efforts. They develop the 4 bases of mystic powers, the powers and faculties, the light of the jewels of the limbs of enlightenment, and thus the supreme path. They develop these for the benefit of beings, focusing their minds on this, their vow supporting them, with compassion foremost, seeking omniscient knowledge, the field of Buddha's thinking of supreme power and the highest path. Steadfast in seeking also the unshakable state of wisdom and the supreme Buddha voice of the teacher, the jewel of the profound path and the abode of liberation, they develop great means. Free from the view of a real body and from all erroneous views, free from ego and possession, from living and gaining, in this 4th stage the defilement of attachment to the clusters, sense mediums, and elements is removed. Whatever actions are condemned by Buddhas as being conducive to affliction and not beneficial, these enlightening beings abandon and with purified intent undertake good deeds for the benefit of the world. They become gentle in mind, careful, mild, genial, honest, kind, easy to live with. Unafflicted, they seek the highest path in quest of supreme knowledge, acting for the benefit of the world. Respectfully approaching the worthy, wishing to learn, they are grateful, easy to teach, not hypocritical. Free from pride and guile, equanimous and courageous, they arouse non-regressing vigor in cultivation. Those established in the splendor of this stage have their minds set on pure truth. Their zeal blazes, they increase good qualities, all defilement, impurity, heedlessness, and doubt vanish. The enlightening beings here, the best of people, pay respect to billions of Buddhas, hear their teaching, and detach from the world to enter it, impossible to spoil, like ornaments of gold. The virtuous state of mind, knowledge, expedient practice, and the path of purification of the sages in this stage cannot be turned back even by billions of demons, just as the radiance of jewels cannot be leached away by rainwater. Those in this stage, worthy of human and celestial respect, become lords of the heaven of timely portion, carrying out celestial justice. They withdraw beings from the tangle of views and accumulate good for the sake of enlightened knowledge. Full of vigor, they see a billion Buddhas due to concentration, single-minded. After that, for many eons they carry out beneficial actions, supreme undertakings characterized by knowledge. Children of Buddha, I have explained this 4th stage of enlightening beings, called blazing, which is pure and involves the immaculate conduct of those with virtue and knowledge. Having thus heard the practice of this excellent stage of the wise, the enlightening beings were pleased, delighted by the teaching. Uplifted, they showered a rain of flowers in the sky, saying, "Well have you spoken, great enlightening one." The King of Gods, with a group of celestials, stood in the sky to honor the Buddha, their minds elevated, delighted, happy. They made clouds of various glows for the Buddha, with pleasing lights. Goddesses in concert sang and played music, to offer to the teacher. Manifesting such power of enlightening beings, they spoke these words. At long last is the will of the sage fulfilled. At long last has the victor attained the emancipation of enlightenment. At long last is Shakyamuni seen in the celestial city, having accomplished a human and divine wheel. At long last are the waters of the ocean stirred, at long last is the pure light of the victor released. At long last do suffering beings become happy, at long last is the teaching of the compassionate one heard. At long last is the great sage met who has attained the consummation of all virtues, having destroyed the darkness of conceit and heedlessness, the great mendicant, worthy, respected. Those who have honored him are gone to heaven, enjoying many kinds of happiness. Those who have honored him put an end to all suffering and gain supreme knowledge. The victor is pure as space, undefiled by the world, like a lotus in water, like the polar mountain rising from the sea, so honor the Buddha glad in mind. Then the wise one Moon of Liberation said to Diamond Matrix, "Please tell us the characteristics of the fifth stage." Diamond Matrix said, "Whoever has fulfilled the path of the fourth stage enters the fifth stage. One enters the fifth stage by tenfold impartiality with purity as the focus of the mind, by impartiality of focus on the purity of the teachings of past Buddhas, by impartiality of focus on the purity of the teachings of future Buddhas, by impartiality of focus on the purity of the teachings of present Buddhas, by impartiality of focus on purity of conduct, by impartiality of focus on purity of mind, by impartiality of focus on purity of removal of views and doubt and uncertainty and perplexity, by impartiality of focus on purity of knowledge of right and wrong paths, by impartiality of focus on purity of knowledge of application and relinquishment, by impartiality of focus on purity of the final ultimate discernment and realization of all the elements of enlightenment, and by impartiality of focus on purity of perfecting all beings. Furthermore, the enlightening beings who have reached the fifth stage, from having cultivated these elements of enlightenment and branches of the path, and from having thoroughly purified their intent practicing what is needed for the quest for a higher path in the future, being supported by the power of vows, compassionately and kindly not abandoning beings, accumulating provisions of virtue and knowledge, never ceasing, putting skill and means into operation, seeing the light of the later stages, seeking the power of the Buddha, being supported by the power of intellect and action and awareness and recollection, attain unwavering attention. And doing so, they accurately know as it really is what the truth of suffering recognized by sages is, what the truth of the cause of suffering is, what the extinction of suffering is, and what the truth of its attainment is. They become well versed in conventional truth, in ultimate truth, in the truth of characteristics, the truth of distinctions, the truth of structure, the truth of substance, the truth of becoming, the truth of knowledge of extinction and non-origination, the truth of entry into knowledge of the path. and by having accomplished the continuity of accession to the stages of enlightening beings, they become well versed in the truth of the accumulation of the knowledge of the enlightened. They know the conventional truth from satisfying other beings according to their inclinations. They know the ultimate truth by comprehending all in one principle. They know the truth of characteristics from awareness of individual and common characteristics. They know the truth of differentiation from learning the definitions of differentiations in the teaching. They know the truth of structure from learning the definitions of the clusters, elements, and sense mediums. They know the truth of substance from realizing the pressure of the body and mind. They know the truth of becoming from the continuity of realms of existence. They know the truth of knowledge of extinction and non-origination from the ultimate extinction of all burning torments. They know the truth of entry into the knowledge of the path from the accomplishment of non-duality. By accomplishment of continuity of accession to the stages of enlightening beings from perfect awareness of all their features, ultimately they know the truth of accumulation of the knowledge of the enlightened. This is, however, on the basis of the power of knowledge in the process of application, not by ultimate exhaustive knowledge. By means of the awareness effected by this knowledge of truths, they know in truth that all that is conditional is void, unreal, delusive, deceptive, fooling the ignorant. They become all the more compassionate toward beings, and the light of great goodwill shines forth. Supported by the power of knowledge, with concern for all beings, seeking enlightened knowledge, they examine all conditioned activities, past and future. They know for a fact how the mass of suffering of beings, sprung from ignorance and craving for existence from the past, borne along in the stream of cyclic existence, never having gotten free from the dwelling of the physical and mental clusters, increases, and that it has no self, no being, no life, no soul, no personality, no self or personal possessions. They also know in truth whether or not there is an end, limit, or escape from their deluded wishing for the non-existent future. Continue to Video 6.